Hello everyone, welcome back to Piedra Designs. This week I've got just a little knob of some kind of wood. My wife's uncle had found it out in the woods where he lives and thought we might be able to turn something with it. I did take this over to my dad and had him stabilize it just because trying to avoid having any issues with punky spots or rot on the inside. And then we're gonna cast it in some resin. This isn't necessarily a casting resin, but it's the only thing I have left short of some stuff that has like a 4-hour open work time, which won't allow the color to stay mixed in that. Okay, we'll get that into the pressure pot and come back to it in a couple of days. Okay, so we're a couple of days later now. Got this out of the pressure pot. It was in there about 48 hours, and it's been a couple of days yet since I took that out. We did get this one pocket here that we're gonna have to get down through, but that's okay because I want to get back down showing some of the wood. I am going to be turning this with carbide, so let's get to it. Okay, we're down to round. Got rid of that where that air pocket had been, but I want to get a little bit more of this wood exposed. Okay, starting to get a fairly decent amount of the wood exposed. I'm gonna go ahead and turn it around now and get it mounted up in the chuck on this tenon. And then this is actually going to be the bottom of what we're doing. I'm going to, I think, put a recess in there. Then again, maybe not. That's getting awful small. I better just go ahead and get that set for a tenon too. Okay, so the last time I had the camera on, I had just finished cutting this, getting it taken down to round, and I stopped the camera because I wanted to do a little bit of cleanup. All that resin shavings was just driving me nuts. I wanted to do a little cleanup on that. And then I discovered that I had actually got this tenon too small. I'm not sure how when I had the calipers set. The only thing I can think is the bottom leg that I couldn't see had caught on the outside lip, or the inside, the farther in lip on the bottom where I couldn't see it, and the top leg that I could see was running here. And then I decided I wanted to go ahead and get the outside of this finished up, and didn't turn the camera on for that. I'm still not quite happy with that. I've got a little bit of haze, and I think a little bit of that haze is coming from what I have now discovered what this original chunk of wood was. It's actually pine, and there is some heavy resin pockets inside here, so they didn't get stabilized, and a day has passed since I did the finishing on this. And when I came back out this morning, I don't know if the camera's picking that up, but I've actually got resin bleeding back out of that. So that's just gonna cause another issue for what I'm trying to do with this, which I still won't mention just yet in the video. What I'm going to do now, just to let you guys know and save myself a bunch of editing time, I'm going to get this tenon returned on here to the proper size, and so that then after I part this in the middle here somewhere, I can turn this around. I'll give you, if you haven't figured it out, I'll give you a little hint as to what we're going for. It's a lidded box, but I need to be able to get the top turned around in the chuck and get that inside hollowed out. So just save you guys a little bit of boredom, because this video isn't supposed to be about turning resin in general. I'm going to get the new tenon turned, get it parted off, and get the lid hollowed out, and then we'll bring you guys back for the next step. Alright, got the inside of that lid hollowed out now, and we got that sanded up. And now it's time to let you know what this project ultimately is supposed to be about. It's supposed to be a lidded box, and I'm going to attempt to thread it. I haven't had this threading set very long, and of all of the local woods, at least that I have available, I've discovered why you don't see a lot of that stuff turned. Uh, as near as I can gather, one of the best woods for threading is boxwood, and we don't have boxwood here in southwest Colorado. The only project I've done that I was semi-successful on was some maple. I got some maple threaded, and those threads came out okay. They weren't perfect, but the lid on that box does thread on and off. Anyway, we're gonna see if we can thread this resin and stabilized wood piece. I've got another factor now working against me besides my lack of experience and skill in this. As I mentioned a little bit ago, I've discovered that this wood, this little knob of wood that we cast in the resin, is actually a piece of pine, and I had it stabilized, but there is a bunch of resin in it, and so some of that wood didn't get stabilized because of the amount of resin that's in it. So besides my lack of skill, we've got that working against me, the fact that some of this wood isn't actually stabilized, and I've already discovered that pine won't necessarily take good threads at this size. And then I've never seen anyone trying to thread resin. Now, I'm not saying that no one's ever threaded resin before, but of the turners I watch and just the few of those who have done threaded projects, none of them did threaded resin. So we're going to give it a shot and see how much of a mess we can make out all this. First thing I've got to do now is get a recess cut back in here so that I have a relief area for the threading tool so that I can get the threading tool out before it bottoms out on the top of the lid and then just eats up whatever threads I may have made. We'll get this recess cut first. Think we've got a decent recess in there. I need to put just a little bit of a chamfer here where the threads will start. And now here we go. Gonna give this a try. Got to turn the lathe speed way down for threading at about 320 RPM. Well, they're a long ways from perfect threads, but I did get some threads going in there. I need to re-chamfer this just a little bit. We've taken so much trying to get somewhat of a decent thread. So we'll put a little bit of a chamfer back on there at the beginning. I guess now I'm ready to get this top out of the chuck and get the bottom in here and get it hollowed out and ready to try the threading on that portion. We'll see you guys here in a little bit when we're ready to start the male threads. Alright, I got started hollowing on that, and fortunately I caught myself before I came out here too far. I don't want to get too much of this hollowed out this direction until I've got my threads cut so that I know where my wall can be. And to get this set for doing the male threads, I've got to just start stepping this down a little bit until it just starts to fit inside this chamfer that we cut. Okay, there we are. And again, I've got to have a recess cut, a relief at the bottom of the threads there. And this is the thinnest parting tool I have to get in there. Boy, we aren't going to have much of a box left at all. But I guess we'll find out if we can thread resin and stabilized wood, and that was the main purpose of this. Alright, so I did remember I had a little homemade parting tool that was thin, but I don't use it because I'm not real happy with how it works. But it did work to get me a small relief cut in there. So we're ready to go ahead and try to get the male threads on. Again, I need to start off and put a little bit of a chamfer on the outside of this where it'll start. Then we got to turn the speed way down, back down to about 320. Yeah, that's right in the big middle of that pitchy area, and it isn't stabilized. Yeah, we aren't getting anything out of that. That's all just breaking away. And it doesn't help that our threads in here aren't perfect either. Yeah, see, and trying to get those to cut. We've cut down so far now that we're just about too small diameter, so we're gonna have to call that one a fail on the threading. All right, so I guess I was just due for another failed project completely. We were trying to turn threads in resin and stabilized wood, and it turned out the piece of wood was actually pine, and there was a lot of pine resin still in that piece, so it didn't get completely stabilized. Full admission on here that my threading skills still leave a lot to be desired. Like I mentioned before, I have only successfully made one item with threads, and it's this little bitty maple box. And even that, the threads are a long way from perfect. I don't know how well the camera's picking that up. But so I have successfully made one little threaded box, but a lack of good wood in this area naturally is a big part of the issue, and threading is something that I understand just needs a lot of practice to get good at. And so couple that then with the unstabilized pine resin heavy wood in this project, and I guess it just wasn't meant to be. One of the other things I think I forgot from a previous video, the basket weave illusion video, I'll try to remember to put a card up there if you haven't seen that video. But I was gonna give an update after I got it recolored, and I don't think I ever did. So here's that bowl now. I got it recolored just red and blue with the black, and I like that a whole lot better than what we originally had with the yellow and red and blue or whatever colors that was. That just didn't work, and I was sloppy with it. But I'm a whole lot happier with this now. Anyway, that was the video for this week. Sorry for the fail, but hey, I'm only human and I'm still learning myself. If you liked the video, please give it a thumbs up, share it on all your social media. If you haven't already done so, please be sure to subscribe to the channel and hit that little notification bell so you don't miss any of my future projects and or fails. From Piedra Designs, thanks for watching.